Well, no, actually, I was still pursuing acting after Halloween. I mean, I did some commercials. I did audition for some big roles after that movie, but I didn't get that role, of course. Did a couple pilots that never saw a light of air. I mean, we filmed it, never heard anything again about it. So, and that one was in like 1983, and the one was in 92, and that was pretty much it.
Well, it sounds this happens to a great number of actors who achieve stardom at a really early age. You know, so if what did you wind up doing professionally?
Well, after college, I was working behind the scenes for Fox News. I was working the Good Day LA show for in Los Angeles. Did that for 10 years. Was doing that, and then I was working the 10 p.m. news. I left that in October '06, and after that, I worked for the County of LA.
Okay, let's switch over to Sandy. Sandy, now you had a slight resurgence of interest in your work as an actress. Tell us about what you've got coming up, because I think there are at least 2 projects that you're working on. What are they?
Well, I did a cameo that we shot virtually. The film was shot in Hungary, and with the pandemic and all, I shot it from Texas for my part. But it is a film called Vulps, The Lust for Revenge. The director got a hold of me and asked me if I would look at his original, the prologue, which is called Vulps, the Prologue, and I said, sure. So I watched it, and I really liked it. I didn't know he was interested in me doing anything for it. I just, a lot of people send me stuff to look at. So I just said, wow, I love the cinematography, I love the plot. It's about a man who gets revenge on people who abuse animals. And I thought, you know what, if you're gonna kill anybody, you're an animal abuser. So I love animals, so
Wait, could I, now, is it true that one of the chief backers of the film is PETA? That's a joke.
Anyway, so after I saw the film, I really did like it. It was well acted, well written. I loved the darkness of it was just good. So I told him that. Well, about 2 weeks later, he called me and said, how would you like to be in the second sequel to it? It's going to be called Vulps, The Lust for Revenge. I said, hey, that'd be great. So unfortunately, I am the mother of one of the animal abusers, so I should have whacked him harder at some point.
It's always the mother's fault.
I know. Please don't hold me accountable for this. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. It's a conversation between me and my son, like a video chat. And then I suppose that's the last time I get to see him. So that's one of the projects, and they have finished the filming now, so I'm assuming it'll probably be out later this year. The next one was supposed to be shot last year in the UK, but we all know what happened to last year. So hopefully this year they're going to let me in and out of the UK, so we can shoot one that its working title is Gym, as in Gymnasium Creeps. And I have a nice role in this one, so I really hope that it happens. And also, they just announced me as being cast in another film called The Executioner that will be shot in Florida. And I was in Texas last week getting a life cast done from here up, which, wow. Nothing's there to breathe. You got 2 little tiny holes to breathe. Your mouth is full of goo, your ears, and I just kept thinking, please don't let there be a fire, because I can't yell, I can't hear, and I can't see. And if anybody plugs my nose or this stuff melts, I'm a goner. So anyway, it was quite an experience, and I'm excited to shoot that one as well. So that's what I have going on right now.
Okay, all right, and back to you, Nick. Last year, I remember there was some controversy, some concern that your part in the upcoming Halloween Kills might be killed, might have been excised. What is that true? What was that? Is this a rumor? What was that?
I think it may be a rumor. I don't know. We'll have to see when I see the final cut. I can't be exorcised completely from the film, even if they cut out the one scene that I'm actually in, because I do all the breathing for the shape. In the post-production, David said, would you go to the post-production house and watch the movie whenever James, who's doing the character, gets on screen, you do the breathing. And that would be really cool, because I think the fans will like that. So I do that. That's free, you get that.
You're going to give James Earl Jones a role for this breathing. Okay, I see how this is going. Okay, well, now, what can you tell us about Halloween Kills without ruining any spoilers?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a sniper back there from Blumhouse. If I start going too much into the plot. Well, you saw a lot of it. I'm sure everyone has seen the trailer, right? It's a really cool trailer. There was some thought when I know when I was talking to my agent about it, I said, did they show too much there? And he said, you know, there's so much in the movie that even the stuff that you saw, you'll have a lot of shocks and surprises. So, you know from the beginning that it's a continuation of the 2018, right? The same minute after that last one ends, we're back there with Lori noticing to her chagrin that the firemen are coming to put out the fire that she wanted it to keep raging so that Michael would die. So we get a kind of indication what's going to happen there. And then just what David and his writers came up with, I think, is really clever, a way of approaching the next one. It kind of harkens back a little to Halloween 2, because we have the hospital as a character in a way for the movie, like the hospital was in Halloween 2. But besides that, you know, it's just like, you get ready for the body count. That's all I can say. There's a lot. Michael does the job on a lot of people. So if you're into that, you'll have a lot of fun. I promise you that.
All I got to say is, though, I admire you for your spunk and your spirit here, but, you know, it's tough for me and tough for everybody who's seen the film from '78 to imagine Michael Myers is a card-carrying member of art now. You know, he's just a little bit, you know, I mean, as a senior citizen, it just doesn't jive with the character. But anyway, so real short answers here. Will, what has being in Halloween done for you? You know, what was the impact on you, good and bad? Can you summarize that?
There wasn't anything bad about it, not at all. I mean, at least where I grew up in San Fernando Valley, Southern California, and every year the movie just got more popular because I mean, eventually, once it was out of theaters back then, a movie would be out in theaters for about a year. Now it's a couple months; it's already on cable. But back then, it'd be about a year and a half before you'd even see it on cable. Back then, it was called On TV, if anybody remembers that. And the advantage of Halloween is, with the name, just like that, it would air every Halloween. So every year, at least where I grew up, it just got more and more popular. And every year it came out, 1980, 81, more people that I grew up with, their parents, knew I was in it, and it just kind of blossomed from there. And just as I grew up, junior high, high school, college, every year it was like, hey, it's your month. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. And 20 years later, you don't see any of these people anymore, and all of a sudden, social media comes out, Facebook, then Instagram, and you reconnect with people you grew up with, and a couple times first thing they say is, hey, every time I see that movie, I still think of you. So that was definitely a positive. That was actually a good thing.
What I really want to know, and this is just between me and you, okay, just between us, how did this affect your dating life?
I don't know. I didn't do anything better for it. I don't know if I did or not. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't.
We'll talk later.
Yeah.
We got some man talk to do. Okay, Sandy, what about you? Goods and bads. What?
Goods and bads. I cannot think of anything bad about it. I can think of lots of pluses. It helped me get other films. It encouraged me to take acting lessons in different things. So the training that I got, of course, now in the last couple of years, it has changed my life tremendously for the better. I have met all of you and 1,000 more, and I love you all. It has been so much fun. And visiting with you on social media, seeing you at cons, it has lightened up my life, my husband's life, and I mean, we're having a ball. We just love you. We love coming out to see you. I'm looking forward now. When I was first found by my agent, Rick Enrique, I did not think about acting. He just wanted me to come do cons. He is not an acting agent. He's a con agent. But then the fans started saying, well, you know, you should make another movie. So I started to think about it. I got back into acting, coaching, and etc. And so now I'm excited to be making films again. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And without you, none of it would be possible. So thank you so much.
What's your name? Ron. Do you have a watch?
I do.
Okay, I left my phone in the back room.
It's about 2:30.
2 minutes.
How many minutes away?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. Questions? Yes?
This is for Nick. My friends and I love when you post up with all of your hats on the mats. And we're curious, how many hats do you have?
Oh my God, I better explain that, I guess. So she asked on Twitter, I've been putting all my hats one by one. I realized I had dozens of hats, and I was going to count them, and I said, oh, this will be fun. I'll put them on the shaped head, the one that I got from the match from 2018, and do a Twitter for each one. So I started to do it, and I said, God, it got annoying. It went on, and I realized I had 253 hats. All like this, of course. Well, not all like this. Some, other things, some novelty hats. But I did make it a contest. You noticed that, right? Whoever guessed it, I would send them a hat. So finally, I got it. I said, who got 253? And 2 people said I got it. So I sent a hat to one person in Texas. And the other person, though, had to be in Australia, so it cost me $20 to get the hat to me. But that was just kind of a fun thing for, I thought, the fans to see, and it was fun for me. Thanks.
Thank you for the experience.
Yeah.
Nick, I just wanted to ask you how you got to direct Last Starfighter, and how was it working with Robert Preston?
Oh, thank you. Before I did The Last Starfighter, my first film was called Tag, the Assassination Game. Linda Hamilton's first major role, and Robert Carradine was in it, and Bruce Abbott, who you know from, what's it called? Rhiannon. So I had a blast. It was a little film, didn't get a lot of play, but the producers over at Lorimar saw it. They thought it was a good piece that showed my talents, and asked me to come by and read the script for The Last Starfighter and see if I wanted to do it. I read it. I'd had a lot of problems, and I would do this and that. So I told my agent, I'm not going to go in there and just say yes. I'm going to go in and say what I would do. And he said, that's what you're supposed to do. So I did, and lo and behold, the producer liked my ideas, and we started working on it. Myself and Jonathan Detchell was the writer. for about a year, and then we got it off the ground and ready to go. Jonathan, the same writer, said, you know, this character, you know what he's like? The Music Man. And you all have seen that famous musical with Robert Preston. So then he said, well, so why don't we get Robert Preston? It would be amazing. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. And he jumped at the chance to do it. He saw what we were trying to do. And he couldn't have been, I mean, Robert Preston was one of the pros of all time. And he was a gentleman, and he was a professional, knew all his lines. And, you know, all I would ever say was, can you do it a little faster? Or could you do it a little slower? I mean, it was not much direction, but he was a giant in the industry, and it was a real privilege. It was his last film, unfortunately, and so I'm proud of him, and fortunate enough to have worked with him.
Okay, we're over time, and we have, I promise, one last question. Make it a 30-second answer, whoever gets the question, and here it is.
Sandy, did you go to any parties at the Playboy Mansion, and do you have any stories?
Yes, I did go to a lot of parties at both Playboy Mansions, the one that was in Chicago and the one that is maybe still in LA. So, oh yeah, they were amazing. The one in Chicago, the Playmate Suite had a hidden staircase that went up to the Playmate Suite behind bookcases. There was a bowling alley. From the bowling alley, you could see people swimming from underneath the pool. I mean, it was just amazing. It had a theater. The one in LA had a zoo, an actual zoo, that you could walk around and see all the animals. It had a big theater. It had a pool with like an underground grotto thing. I mean, both of the mansions were fabulous. So it was a ton of fun. He had great parties. He had pajama parties and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So yes, I did, and it was kind of fun.
And so far, this is the crazy stuff. Give a big round of applause to Sandy.